So with old field management, and more specifically switchgrass bedding areas, I'm always looking for ways to make them better and for ways to make them hold more deer. So today I'm going to actually work to add more structure to my switchgrass bedding areas. So the first part of that was to find some trees to bring out there. Now these trees behind me are hard maple. Now amongst these hard maple there are actually some red oaks growing. So I'm going to release these red oaks by getting rid of the hard maple, and then we'll take the hard maple out to the switchgrass bedding areas and strategically place them to hopefully boost the bedding. Now this video is probably going to be a two-part video because there's some other stuff I'm going to do out in these switchgrass bedding areas this summer that I'm really excited about, that I think will make them better. But the first part is just to get some structure out there. We've had a beautiful winter here in Minnesota, so it's a great time to do this. I'm always experimenting. Not saying it's going to be a home run, but you know what? I got the time today. Let's see if it works. All right, stick with me. Check out these beautiful logs just waiting to be placed in strategic spots in the switchgrass. They're all hard maple. I went with the hard maple because I've kind of tried this in the past. One, I didn't do big enough logs, I know that. I did basswood, they rot right away. These hard maples will last a long time. And they were encroaching on my beautiful red oak there, so they had to go. That nice green of that woods. I'm surprised we had this logged, that area logged, and they took out a ton of hard maple. I'm surprised these got left, but now they're going to be placed out here in this sea of switchgrass as strategic bedding logs. Pretty excited to try this, and there's other stuff I'll be doing out here to add to it, but today we're going to get these set up. It's, like I said, it's beautiful here in Minnesota. Might as well do some work. Alright, let's see how these big old bedding logs set up. Pretty crazy. It's New Year's Day. The switchgrass is still standing tall. Not normal. Normally by now it probably would have been tipped over here in Minnesota. Just a crazy winter. You can see, like I showed in other videos, I leave lots of these open pockets because this is where you'll find the beds when you are checking your switchgrass. I like the open pockets because that's where that early successional growth will play out. So we'll have some food in here as well as cover. Okay, there's my first one. Took me a second to find it. There is the very first big old log. So I went as big as I could with these bedding logs. So I've tried it in the past. I just went too small. Didn't choose the right type of log because they rotted quickly, but these hard maples should last a long time. I picked the edge of the switch, so here's the view. I'll sit right on the log and show you. The deer bed's here. Kind of watch out over the valley. It's a little bit of a high point, so I always kind of leave these open pockets where I think the deer would want to naturally bed. That's often on those high points. If there would have been some kind of bench in this big old open area, I would have left a spot there for an overlook. And then on the bottoms too, when it's nasty, they really like bedding in those bottoms, get out of the wind and the cold. you can see, beautiful, beautiful view here. Nice open spot here. This is roughly where the buck I shot this year. He was bedded right up in this area somewhere. So, and then we got the switchgrass cover to the back and beautiful log they can bed up against. So the reason I went with the logs is because when you're scouting in the woods, you find these big down trees. There are very often beds next to them. I've shot at least 2 different bullbucks where I went and found their bed because I saw where they got up and they were bedded right next to a big old down log. Now a lot of guys like to drag tree tops in here. There's a benefit to that because birds will perch on them. They'll poop out tree seeds and things like that and start that regrowth for you. So that's definitely something you can do. But on a treetop would break down after a few years, whereas the logs should last quite a while. That's why I went with logs today. All right, there's bedding log number 2. That is an absolute monster. Huge tree. That one had a really pretty grain to it. Again, room with a view. Can perch right here, kind of watch out over this area. Nice flat spot. Deer will not bed where there's too much slope, so I picked nice flat locations and dropped the trees here to put a little structure out here, as well as the switchgrass. I mean, the switchgrass is structure, but let's add a little diversity and give them a little different type of structure. So that big monster is going to sit right there. Nice spot from the bed right there, and nice view. All right, there's another one. That was kind of a small log, but it was there. So I brought it out here and actually purposely perched it right up on those gopher mounds. So it sits up a little bit higher. And again, beautiful high point. Room with a view. That's the goal. I really like the setup on this one. Nice big log. This is one of the higher points in this field. Nice overlook. This should bed a deer right here, I would think. If I was a deer, I'd want to bed here. And again, I'm going to do some stuff this summer to make this even better. I'll include that in a part 2 later this year. But I got some ideas. Not saying they're going to work, but you'll have to stick with me and see what happens. I mean, I feel like they're going to work. In theory, I think they'll work. All right, there's a nice big log. Now I'm in the bottom here. So this is more a spot. I think if they're going to want to get out of elements, they'll come bed down in here. So I do favor those high points, but they do bed in these low spots too. I have plenty of diversity pockets up in here. Beautiful view. This was another one of those ones that's a massive log. I like it when it kind of curves like that. I feel like a deer could just tuck right up in there. Right there would be the bed. But fun to get this structure out here. And there's the last one. I think I found them all. I did 7, so if there's only 6, I missed one, but another big old massive log. I tried to set most of these up so that the northwest wind coming that way would be blowing over their back. So if they're bedding for security, which I think this will bed the most deer during the highest hunting pressure time, they can have the northwest coming over their back because that's the predominant wind during the rut here in Minnesota. And then they can sit and watch out over the valley. Have this nice comfy log to bed up against. So when you post stuff on social media, especially stuff like this where, you know, I'm experimenting, I'm trying something new today, you're always going to get that one guy that wants to pee in your Cheerios, tell you, that's dumb, you know, or you're overthinking it, deer don't eat all that, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, I'm out in creation, I'm having fun. If it doesn't work, oh well. I opened up a couple of big beautiful red oaks that didn't have much of a chance before, but cutting these maples out, now they got a chance. So that was a good thing. And if I can just get one deer to use these and it happens to be the right deer, then it was worth it, right? And even if nothing uses it, oh well. beautiful day to be out here and break a sweat with the chainsaw, have some fun with the skid loader, and see what happens. So as habitat managers, we should always be curious. We should always be experimenting, because who knows, if you land on that one idea that gets that one right buck on your property, all the work's going to be worth it. So it's a lot of fun. All right, well, you all take care. God bless.